Hello, everyone. It's Stacy with Real Life Psychology and Life Coaching. And today I am going to talk about some life coaching tips that can help you out without having to see a life coach. Are you ready? Let's have a seat on the couch. All right, everyone, let's dive into it because it is about 5 a.m. and I have not done a video in a while because I actually took on a contract to where I am doing work therapy with some women in a nonprofit. So I am going to be doing that pretty much full time, as well as life coaching and going to school for psychology to get my license. So I'm a bit busy, but I am enjoying it, and I feel like it's something that is part of my purpose. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about as far as life coaching tips is goal setting. A lot of people set goals at the beginning of the year. They don't follow through with them. If they do it until like February or March, maybe even May, and then they fall off. And then at the beginning of the year, they start all over again doing the exact same thing. One of the suggestions is from a life coach is to make small goals that equal up to the big goal. So what I would suggest is if you want to lose weight is a big one. So if you want to lose this many pounds, have it set to where every month you are losing 1 or 2 pounds. You're not trying to lose 15 pounds in 2 days. As you see the effects gradually, you will be inspired to keep going. Another thing is maybe saving money. Instead of saying, I need $10,000 right now. By the end of the year, I want to have $10,000 in my bank account. So every month, I'm going to put away $1,000, or I'm going to put away $500, or I'm going to put away this much every week to meet that end goal. Make it to where every month you are taking initiative so that overall your goal is met. And it's not something that's overwhelming immediately. All right, so number 2 is going to be action planning. And typically what a life coach does with action planning is once goals are set, we sit down with clients and we kind of go over what their actions are going to be to meet these goals. And we break down the goals. This is something you can actually do on your own. A life coach does help because we think of all kinds of ideas that will help you and motivate you, and you kind of brainstorm together. This is something that you can do on your own if you are motivated. If you are not motivated and you're easily sidetracked, you may need a life coach to help you with this. But your action plan is going to be your plan for the year. A lot of people do the boards where they sit down and paste all the stuff on the board. This is what I'm going to accomplish this year, but it doesn't actually have the actions you have to take to do that. If you're a visual person and you could say, okay, I'm getting this car, I'm getting this job, I'm going to have this much money, I'm going to go on these many vacations, great. But if you are not a person who's visual and you need direction, you have to sit down and you have to plan what you are going to do every day that helps you meet a goal every week, to where that weekly goal helps you meet that goal every month, which in return helps you meet your ultimate goal. It sounds like a lot, but if you do a little bit every single day, a little bit every single day, you will complete a weekly goal that will ultimately complete your monthly goal, which will ultimately complete your overall goal. You cannot have goals that you do not work on every single day. Because if you do not do it, something is going to fall through. You're going to get too laxed. And an example is going to be, I'm going to go back to saving money because that's a big one for New Year's resolutions. If I spend $6 a day at Starbucks, which ultimately ends up, or more, which ultimately ends up making me spend $30 a week, which ultimately ends up having me spend $200 a month, am I really working on my saving goal? You might have to limit Starbucks to once a week or twice a week until you're comfortable enough to do, that. What it is ultimately you have to take action every single day. And action planning is something that is required to meet goals. So if you have not done an action plan before, I would suggest talking to a life coach. If you have, or you just have time to look it up, these are things that are going to help you meet your goals. So number 3 is going to be confidence. We have confidence when we take action. You have to be confident in what it is your goals are, what it is your goal setting actions are, and ultimately putting that to work. So if you are not confident, you're going to slack, you're going to make excuses, you're going to not see results, and then you're going to say nothing is working, these goals aren't right, and so on. Having confidence in what you ultimately want, what your goals are set to, and your action plan allows you to succeed. Confidence is a big thing. If in your mind you think, I cannot do it, you are not going to do it. So you have to be confident enough to say, this is my plan. I'm starting. I'm doing something every day. I am going to take initiative. I'm going to, whatever your goal is, to read more, to learn more, to finish school, to lose weight, to save money. You have to be confident in those things. Confidence is big. With me, I have to get up every day and tell myself, you got this, do just a little bit. I know you're tired, but if you do just 30 minutes of this homework, you'll have 30 minutes less to do tomorrow. And it keeps me going. It keeps me going to where really now I finish homework, which is a 6-week extremely intense course for every class. And I take 2 to 3 classes at a time. I do homework on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. By Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm completely done and I don't have to worry about it. Why? Because that is a way for me to stay focused, and I am intentional and I'm confident in it. If I do it now, I don't have to do it over the weekend. So now I'm not, angry about weekend work. Now I'm like, I got this. I can do it. And it's the same thing with your action plan and having confidence. Be confident in what you set for yourself to make sure that it's achievable. So next is establishing boundaries. If any of you have not seen my boundaries video, please take a look at it because it is extremely helpful on setting boundaries and what those boundaries mean. Because boundaries are not for other people, they're for you. So setting boundaries is an important thing when you are trying to set goals, when you are trying to take life changes, when you are trying to level up and do things differently, because those boundaries are for you. You have to set boundaries so that you are meeting your goals. If you are trying to save money, you cannot go to every party, every event, every socialite thing that's going on, because guess what? That's gas, that's outfits, that's food, that's money. And unfortunately, you're in the process of saving this year. So your goal is to set boundaries. I can only go to 2 events a month as long as they're not over, $150. You can't go to every concert that your friend invites you to. That's $250 if you're trying to save that $250 a month to ultimately have your goal. It's the same with losing weight. You can't always go out to eat with friends if you're trying to lose weight. I mean, it's a waste of money and your time because you're not going to appreciate the setting, because right now you are thinking about, God, if I order this or if I order that and they don't have anything this way, that's going to help me, or I've already eaten for the day. And there's a lot that plays into it. I'm not saying you cannot do these things. What I'm saying is you have to set boundaries for these things. Going out to eat with friends every single day is not going to help you lose weight. Going out to eat with friends every single day is not going to help you save money. Going out to eat with friends every day is not going to help you finish school or, spend quality time with yourself that you need, or, with your kids or your family or whatever it is that you are trying to work on. That is an example of extreme measures when I say every single day. But you also got to think about it and say, if I'm working on healthy things, like I'm trying to mentally get myself together, I'm trying to grow and build friendships, you have to look at it as what is going to work for you and what your boundaries are going to be set so that you are able to succeed. For example, I pretty much blocked everyone in my phone, probably besides my mom and my dad and my kids and husband, because this is a transition for me that is extremely difficult, that is extremely overwhelming. And I need the time to focus on me, not other people's problems, not other people's situations, not any gossip, not any drama. It's nothing personal to anybody else. I can't help anybody within these 2 months right now, while trying to work on myself. And sometimes that is the boundary you have to set. So I set a boundary where I just basically blocked everybody in my phone because I have to take time for me. It doesn't matter what you need at this moment. I need to focus on what I need to focus on, which requires self-discipline, sometimes elimination, sometimes just, working through things mentally, or physically. And you set those boundaries. You don't have to be as extreme as I am, but when I want something done, honey, I want something done. So I will take steps forward. I will take steps back. I will reevaluate. And that's what setting boundaries are, is making sure that at any cost, you are taking care of what you need to make sure you are doing it healthy and you are doing it properly, and it's going to last. All right, so another tip that I have for anyone who is going through the process of setting goals is journaling. I know that this sounds like deja vu and it's taboo. Everybody does it. It doesn't work. It does work. Journaling, if you take it seriously, does work. It is a way for you to look back and see where you were, where you're going, and where you're headed. So you can journal and describe your goals and how they're working out for you, your challenges, your successes, and rewards and things like that. And then as you continue to write, it could be daily, it could be weekly, it could be monthly. I wouldn't suggest anything over monthly because you're not really taking the time to evaluate the process, and you won't get as much feedback for yourself. And the best feedback you can get is from yourself. So if you are journaling and being completely honest, you can look back at the beginning of your stages and go, wow, I was really struggling with this, but now it feels like this is easy and this is what I'm struggling with. So I can keep moving forward because I know eventually I will overcome this struggle as well. Talking in a journal is also kind of like releasing some of that stress. It's like you don't have to tell anybody because you're kind of like telling the journal. So you're writing it down and it releases some of that anxiety and stress because you're getting it out. So journaling does help, and I would suggest doing it even if you try it just for a few months, because ultimately you're able to take a look back. And then you're able to kind of see where you're going just by journaling, weekly or daily or monthly. All right. So lastly, I want to say, give yourself grace. This is something I'm learning for myself because I am my hardest critic. I am the person who looks at everything that I do and challenges it and takes it apart and puts it back together. So give yourself grace. It takes time to change. It takes time to change. Nothing is done overnight. Nothing is done in a week. It takes time, and everybody's time is different. Stop looking at social media, seeing people doing better than you, and feeling like you're not where you need to be. You're exactly where you need to be. You have to grow, you have to build, you have to go through challenges, you have to go through things to ultimately understand what it's going to take for you to be at that success level. You're not looking at people that are not doing better than you and saying, God, I'm doing great. No, you're looking at the people who are doing better than you and comparing yourself, and it's unrealistic. You don't know what they went through to get there. You don't know who gave it to them. You don't know how hard they worked. You don't know how long they've been doing it. All you see is a picture or a video of them being successful. And now you feel like you're not at your best. Don't do that. Because I have learned that doing that is more stressful than actually working on my goals. Be proud of where you are and your situation and just build up from there. Give yourself grace. It takes time. With that, I hope this video was rewarding for you and that you learned some things. If you still need a life coach, please reach out to www.reallifepsychology.com. I'm Stacy. Have a wonderful day. Bye.